We are on to cycle 3. For cycle 3, we're going to be reading pages 88 to 91. This is a new chapter, which we haven't done so far in this book yet. We're going to do 2 chapters this lesson. So open up your books to page 88, American Chop Suey. I used to think all that spooky stuff about Friday the 13th was just a pile of baloney. But now I'm getting my own personal introduction to what can happen. It's October, and so far things have been going pretty good. Better than I ever expected. Me and Freak are like this unit, and even Mrs. Donnelly says she is starting to get used to us, which is her way of admitting that Freak is about twice as smart as she is, and for sure he's read more books. She keeps saying stuff like, Kevin, we know you know the answer because you always know the answer. So wouldn't it be nice if someone else got a chance? For instance, your friend Maxwell. Freak goes, he knows the answer, Mrs. Donnelly. Yes, Kevin, and I'm sure you're correct because you're always correct. But for a change, I'd like to hear Maxwell speak for himself. Maxwell? Maxwell Kane? This is dumb what because what does it matter if I know the answer? If I don't know, then Freak will tell me, and he'll say it in a way I can understand, which is a lot better than Mrs. Donnelly can do. So what I do, I just shrug and smile and wait, because I know she'll get tired of asking and move on to the next. As a matter of fact, I do know the answer. The reason Johnny Tremaine got mad and hateful is because he burned his hand in a stupid accident. And I know that because Freak has been showing me how to read a whole book, and for some reason, it all makes sense. Where before it was just a bunch of words I didn't care about. So they're referring to the book Johnny Tremaine. And in this book, it came out in the 1940s. And in this book, this man becomes a silversmith and then burns his hand in really hot silver. So that's the accident that he's referring to here. That's the book that they're reading. We're going to continue. My reading skills tutor, Mr. Meehan, has said stuff like, Max, now tests have always shown that you're not dyslexic or disabled, and this proves it. As you know, my personal opinion has always been that you're lazy and stubborn, and you didn't want to learn. So if hanging out with Kevin somehow improves your attitude and your skills, that's great. Keep up the good work. It was Mr. Meehan who had a word with Mrs. Donnelly, and that's why she finally gave up on trying to make me talk in class, and instead, she waits until study hall, where she asks me the same questions alone and I tell her the answers. She still doesn't get it though, because she always goes, But Maxwell, if you can speak to me, then you can speak to your classmates, right? Wrong. Big difference. I can't explain what it is except that my mouth shuts up when there's more than 1 or 2 people. In a whole classroom full, forget it. Okay, you're shy about public speaking, but how does that apply to writing down the answers? If you can read, then you can write, right? Wrong again. The reading stuff Freak helped me figure out by showing how words are just voices on paper. Writing down the words is a whole different story. No matter what Freak says, writing the stuff down is not like talking, and my hands feel so huge and clumsy. It's like the pencil is a piece of spaghetti or something and it keeps slipping away. Mrs. Donnelly says, okay for now, she's satisfied I can't read. But we'll really have to work on this writing thing, won't we, Maxwell? And when she says that, I just nod and look away because inside I'm thinking, forget it. No way. Like Freak says, reading is just a way of listening. And I could always listen, but writing is like talking. And that's a whole other ballgame. All right, we are going to pause there and look at our question for this section. It says, what, if anything, about Max's self-concept seems to be changing? And then what about his self-concept remains unchanged? So you remember that self-concept, that's how he feels about himself, what he thinks he can, or what his ideal self is, how he values himself. All those different things play into the self-concept. So what about that seems to be changing in Max? And then what has kind of stayed the same? When you're done, move on to cycle 4.